Hello, I'm going to talk to you today about a product that will change the way that you do niche research and make money online. This product is called Convert to CSV, and it enables you to explore more niches, reduce your costs, because you don't have to invest hundreds of dollars on content and hire article writers for each niche that you want to research. See which of those niches are profitable, then reinvest your money and use that money that you earned from all the websites on just those select few that you want to focus on. Now you're probably asking, how is this possible? And this is because we're going to mad lib it. Now if you're familiar with the game, you'll understand that it's very effective for generating unique content and randomizing it. Now we do this with spin tags. So we write a paragraph or so of text and then we spin it. Then after we're done with that, we take tokens and we use them to replace key parts of our text, such as the product name, eBay category, etc. And what this does is it allows us to generate hundreds of posts and create very complex websites, categories, tags, etc. Now, what I'm going to do is give you a brief example so you get a good idea, and then we'll go through a new WordPress installation and generate a ton of posts for a sample website. This is Convert to CSV. It looks pretty simple, but don't let that fool you. It can make thousands of posts with very complex WordPress installations or any other content management system you want to use. So for this simple example, we're going to put in two different column headers. We're going to paste the same content for each of them. And then we're going to paste some tokens. Now each token will represent a single post. So if you want to have 1,000 different posts, you would put 1,000 different lines in this column. We hit convert. It tells you it's going in the same directory that you opened the exe in. We wait for it to open, and we look at it, and we can see that it's got the headers here, it's replaced the tokens, and it's unspun the syntax. Now if you notice, over here, I put spin tags for the actual token. And this is going to be very important for our complex example. So let's hop into it. What we're going to do for our more complex example is set up a cell phone website. I've got the basic installation set up. Nothing's been done. Now we're going to start by going to eBay. And at eBay we get the main section, and then we're going to go on to the main categories. So that way we can get their IDs. Now if you notice, right up here are a few different numbers. Each eBay category has a unique ID. If you go just on the entries, you won't get this. So you have to go on the categories. Now because this can be pretty annoying to track down a ton of different category IDs, there's a website called isoldwhat.com. And you can get your Amazon browser nodes from this, your eBay categories, etc. So we click on the little eBay categories. This takes us to a list of all the main categories for eBay and their respective IDs. Now, we don't want the main category because then all of our posts will be pulling in a bunch of different categories entries. So we click on the stuff on the PDAs and we get the subcategories. Now these are a lot more targeted and they are exactly what we want. So we're going to be doing the Bluetooth accessories, the cell phone and PDA accessories, and the cell phone and smartphones. Paste them here. This is just for reference. So now, once we've got that, we want to get our brands of phones. We've got Sony Ericsson and everything else. So then, we've got our phone types. If you notice, these are the cell carriers. And we have these two, so that way we can have some subcategories in the cell phone and PDA category. And now, we've got a token, our summary of our tokens that we're going to be using. We'll come back to that in a minute. So, what I tend to do first is type up two different versions of my paragraph. So that way I can see easily how they're supposed to fit together. So we've got our Apple, we've got our iPhone, and we've got our smartphone. Those are our first three tokens. I got two different versions, and you can see they flow together pretty nicely and pretty salesy. But they're generic enough they'll work with all three of our main categories. So they're not just phone specific, they can work for the accessories and the Bluetooths. Then I take both versions and I pair up each sentence and I go through. Then I replace the keywords with tokens and I attach some HTML so that way all this is on one line and it's not going to get muddled when it adds into the post. So then I attach the PHP Bay tags and put in tokens for those tags. Now next we want to do our post title, and so we have Apple smartphone, then we have our category, and then we have our tags. I've gone through and I converted those to tokens as well. Now if we want to go back and pull up right here, you can kind of see how these tokens are going to play out. Since we have that, we're going to take our post and paste it into the best spinner. And you can see I've already done it. Now when I started, just the two versions was at 87% unique. So this 50% unique is pretty misleading. When you take into account two versions for each sentence, 4 sentences, and then we go in depth and do nested spinning for each word in those sentences, then we also take into account the multi-tokens. All of our posts for this website are going to be pretty unique. So once we have that, we're pretty much ready to paste all of this into Convert to CSV. We're going to paste in the post first, paste that here. Then we're going to get our column headers. And paste those in. Now you'll notice something a little bit different about these column headers. If we look in the database, you'd see post, post title, etc. for the post table. Those are field names. That's what we would normally paste here. But since we're using CSV importer, they have their own syntax that they want to use to identify actual WordPress posts. That way, if you're using a different theme or a different plugin that has its own taxonomy, it doesn't get messed up. So this is just going to be a basic post. So we only need to use just CSV importer's tags, or how it determines the column. Next, we're going to go and fill these in. So we're going to do this right now and get the type. That's going to be post. The author is going to be admin. The post date is going to be now. And that way it generates a timestamp based on the exact time that we import all the posts. Now we go through and grab this. So that's going to be our title. Paste that there, and go back and get our category. Then we go back and get our tags. And this is complete. Now for the challenging part. So we know that all of these are going to be in there because we want those for our cell phones. We also know that we want to have different versions of the phones, so those are going to come in here. We also know that we want to have a section for the manufacturers. These right here are going to be a subcategory of cell phones. So, token 2, we have to have the type. We go through and get these. So we know that Apple is going to have the type iPhone. And the rest of these we're not real sure about. So we're going to leave those blank. Now you might be asking, do we have to have a token for every single one of these? No, we don't. Because since these are all word groups, so we don't have to have all this lined up. So we can actually leave a blank tag, since the rest of these columns depend on them, of having the exact same number of tokens. Otherwise, we really wouldn't care. So now we need to add token 2, which is the product category. So we grab the category. We're going to have category smartphones. We're going to paste that all the way down through here. So these are all going to have one category. The types, however, are going to have two. So we have those, then two categories. What this little arrow does is says that we want to have a subcategory, and it links it for us. Now we take that and bring it down. We're going to do a similar thing for all the carriers. So that covers that. Now we need to add the eBay category. Since we're doing these, we're just going to copy this number. And that covers those. Now we're going to copy all of these again, so that way we can have accessories. So we're going to do the same thing as we did before, and add the iPhone for this one. We're going to leave the BlackBerry one blank, because it'd be kind of odd to say a BlackBerry. And on the second thought, we're going to remove this one up here too. Then we're going to add the categories. Since we're on cell phone accessories, we're going to copy this, paste that in, paste that in. Now we're going to copy those all the way down. Now that we've copied all those down, you're going to repeat. And that is that, as far as building the things to replace the tokens. Now, since I'm lazy and I don't want to have to go insert commas between all of those, I want to save this as a CSV file. So now I'm going to open this up with a little bit more advanced text editor. Remove all of the quotes and replace those with nothing. Replace all. Copy that. Paste it in. And we are good to go. We convert. And now we have our bulk upload file with a unique version of all our posts. Now, how awesome is that? As you can see, our content is pretty unique for each post. So now that we have that, we're going to go back to our browser, go into the admin area, we have to go and fix PHP Bay Pro. So now, when we view the front page, we can see that it correctly added all of this, added our posts correctly, added the categories, added the tags, etc. So there you have it. If you did all of this, it'd probably take you less than an hour to set up a new niche site. Then all you gotta do is customize the theme and you're good to go. So, toss up a few of these a week and imagine how many websites you could have figuring out new niches in just a month.